Hey everybody, welcome back to Gun Totin' Minnesotan. My name is Andrew and today I'm going to be reviewing this Gritr Gear fixed blade EDC. This is their Scout blade. I'm a big fan. I think it's really unique. It's an interesting design overall, but very functional. What we're going to do is just do a little bit of usage, some practical discussion, and I'll come back, wrap it up, and tell you why I think this is a really great option for people looking to get into fixed blade EDCs that have practical purpose in mind. All right, so how does it carry? That's something that definitely matters for me. I do like wearing a fixed blade EDC. That's something I enjoy. I can do that in the areas I'm from. I'm permitted to do that. So here's what it looks like to carry on the belt in tech lock. Maybe something in the future that could show is with an ulti clip carrying in the front of pocket. I still think it would carry just fine that way. You know, it's not a terribly long blade, and you can recess that into your pocket pretty well. Goes into that Kydex sheath really nicely. It doesn't actually stick out horribly. The only issue I would have with carrying it on the belt like this is usually there's a gun right here. And sometimes I wear a gun in a chest carry position if I'm out in the woods doing that sort of thing. But regular EDC stuff, yeah, I think I would probably go front pocket carry for this, or even carry it scout or change it, which is something you can do because this comes on a tech lock. Or something compatible to a tech lock, at least. Looks like a tech lock. I'm going to come in here a little closer. So with these, you can adjust this by flipping that switch, pressing these tabs, opening it up, and inside, maybe this is a dot system. I can't remember which version this is, I'm sorry, but you have these little tabs. You can take those out, you can move them around. So if you're going to run a 1.5 inch belt, a 2 inch belt, 1.75, it'll fit all of that just fine. And you can actually take these screws or bolts out and place it however you want to. Obviously, you have some ability to interface with these different rivets that have pass-through. So they will just allow you to carry it in a scout carry or maybe a front side carry. You could even carry it canted if you wanted to. There's a lot of options. That's just what I'm trying to say, is this carry option gives you quite a bit of versatility for outside the waistband. And if you're going to go inside the waistband, you could go to ulti clip, or if you want to do front pocket carry, there's a number of ways you could do it. In fact, when I'm not wearing pants that have a belt, a lot of times I just carry it like that, and it's actually pretty reasonable. It packs away nice enough, and I'm a big guy, so it's easy for me to do. But really great sheath. Again, I can't stress how well done this sheath actually is. Mass-produced knives generally don't have great sheaths. Sometimes in your custom Kydex, they get really nice deep press and click into place in custom Kydex, and then you get no rattle. And this one, you're not paying a custom knife price, but it does have a nice thumb release, like there's a position for your thumb to press against. And then it's got awesome retention with no rattle at all. So just really well done, and the footprint isn't enormous. It's a relatively small footprint for the blade, as you can tell. Almost forgot to mention this. You'll notice that there is no drainage hole right here. That's because they've actually concealed the drainage hole in the back. So just another tactful addition here, something just to class it up a little bit, make it look a little nicer. So you do have a drainage hole, and it's essentially right at the tip of the blade where water would come down to. And that's just one more thing you got to have in a Kydex sheath so water can pass through. It's one of the benefits of having any polymer plastic sheath. And I like that they did it the way that they did. Another classy thing, and it doesn't actually go through to both sides. It's just on one side, and it's kind of hidden. So that's neat. Right here's an invasive species called buckthorn that definitely is problematic, and usually if you give it a good bend and you have a good bite with any knife, it should be able to just pop for you like that. See if I can get all this out of here. It's just hard because every piece you grab onto bites you, like this one. Let's do some cardboard. This is double thick cardboard with an edge that's under 4 inches. You're going to be reworking the same spot a lot. I've been using this blade for quite a bit now, a couple weeks of heavy use, and actually, it's still sharp. That sucker takes a strop really nice. I'm still slicing through double thick cardboard with ease. It's not difficult. Huh. The coating has held up reasonably well. It is going to fade eventually. That's just the nature of any coating on a blade that you use in rough circumstances, or you're beating it up against wood. Even cardboard will take that coating off eventually. But this thing is still very, very sharp after all the cutting I've been doing. And continually with cardboard, on screen, off screen. I just had to cut up several boxes for some furniture. And this thing really is not struggling whatsoever. For a short blade, it's got such a nice ergonomic to it. It's really easy to control and aim and work. I mean, it just... Let's do this. How about right here? I just want to cut my table. It's got an excellent tip. And it's still sharp. I'm surprised it is this sharp after this much use. So D2, still holding up really nice, and the handle, it just tends to grow on me. At first I thought, well, I hope those scallops don't become uncomfortable, but it's definitely growing on me. It's more and more comfortable, I think. Let's do a quick notch. I know it's not a woodworking blade per se, but if it's on my side, it probably has to do some amount of woodworking at some point, like making a tent stake or a notch. If it's going to be an EDC, it's not uncommon for me when I'm camping to not pull out like a bushcraft knife or something for a small notch. If I just need to make a tent stake, something to hold the tarp down, the knife that's on me has to be able to do the job. And it's not going to be an issue with this one. Lots of belly, lots of cutting surface there, and sweep. Shouldn't be an issue. Let's see if we can cut all the way through with this. Yeah, not too bad. Especially for a blade that's not a woodworking specific blade. But I think it can do the basics. It probably can do a little bit of firecraft. So if you had to get to the inner parts of some wood, if it's rainy like it has been today and it's freezing outside, you need to get some dry wood on the inside for tinder. This has lots of belly and a plenty sufficient grind, comfortable handle to work with it and bear into wood and get some reasonable curls out of it, actually. It's not a bad bite. A little bit surprising how well this can bite in without being a Scandi. So if you can get that to start, get 10 of the 12 of those together, you'll have plenty to start even when it's wet out and dry out your other tinder. Hopefully get your fire going. Yes, the knife can do firecraft reasonably well. Looks like it can do some light prying without too much trouble. Let's go ahead and baton this piece. Yeah, it's not going to have a huge reach, but it definitely can wedge in there, and I'm not concerned about it because it is a full tang, obviously. So I've used it for a couple weeks, and a couple of things I can give you feedback on. I like the scallops in the handle. I wasn't sure what I would think of them just because sometimes scallops can give you a lot of grip, but they could also give you hot spots if they're done wrong. And I've seen some really high tread stuff where you would almost want to wear gloves every time. And that's not what I'm looking at here. This is a very nicely done, well thought through set of scallops on both sides. And they're actually matching pretty nicely on both sides. The machining, whatever they did, they went back and sanded and radiused the edges. There's nothing hot about these scallops. It's kind of deceiving because it does give you extra grip, gives you an ability to lock it in your hand pretty well. And then you also have some pinch grip scallops in here for slicing like this. And then you also have this jimping up here, which sometimes jimping can appear to be really aggressive, and it might look like something that would tear up your thumb or your index finger. But that's not true of any of these. They've all been done with a really nice appropriate level of grip and function. No hot spots, even the jimping up here, which normally I can go pretty iffy on jimping on blades. But this, it looks aggressive. It is not aggressive. It's pretty minimal. It's a nominal amount of edges built into this, but it's enough to get some reinforced pressure with your thumb, and your thumb will bite in a little bit. Even the edges up here by the hilt or the guard, these are all rounded. They're not aggressive against your hand. I've actually had guards before that were almost as sharp right here as they are up here. And this guard is rounded. Nice coating, evenly done. It doesn't look like the coating has worn off on this. It actually looks to have held up pretty good. And I haven't reground it or resharpened it. It's just been stropped back and forth, and it's coming back to a reasonably good edge. D2 can hold an edge a decent long time. It kind of depends what the hardness is like. And this one, I would say, is right in the middle of the road for hardness when it comes to D2. It seems to have held up reasonably well, strops back without a huge amount of trouble. And so that tells me it's probably middle road hardness, not incredibly hard to sharpen or hone, which is a big benefit for an EDC blade. So when it comes to an EDC, this works for me. And some of the reasons that this works for me, and it probably will work for you if you like fixed blade EDC, is the blade is plenty broad enough so it can be slicey. It's got this nice relief up here. Behind the shoulder, it's plenty thin and slicey. But on top of that, it's not overly long. So the blade itself, around 3 inches is a good blade length for me for an EDC, whether it's folding or fixed. I just don't want to have a longer blade than that. It takes up a lot of pocket space or a lot of belt space if it tends to be longer, and you just don't need that. The ratio should be good, so we've got a good ratio of handle to blade, as you can tell, and then it just has to be comfortable. It can't be thin. I don't really like skeletonized blades, ultralight blades for pocket carry or belt carry because they're not comfortable to work with, especially if you have big hands. And this one is a nice in-between. It's not too big, but it's definitely not too small. It is robust. The handle scales equally well. They can't be too thin or lacking broadness, and these are not thin, but they're not fat, and they're not lacking broadness. I can get a good purchase on this blade. In adverse climates, I have those scallops, I have the thumb jimping in the right places, and it's comfortable to use. So if it's the right size, and it's the right feel, and it's good quality steel, and the carry method is reasonable, that's kind of my equation to, am I actually going to carry the thing? It can't just be one of those things that stands out. It has to be a nice agreement between all those features. And I think this has the features of a high quality EDC. And the last thing would be price point. Price point does matter. And this is actually really affordable. So if you're in the market for a decent EDC blade, you want to carry a fixed blade EDC, I actually think this one's pretty cool. Has some maybe tactical application, self-defense application as well, because it's not ultra thin and it is pretty robust, has a cool design to it. Gritr as a brand is a newer brand to me, but I really like what I'm finding, whether it's like rolling rifle cases, range bags for shoulder bags, or these blades. Pretty much everything with that brand on it so far has actually been very high quality. It's not a step down from the other brands that they carry. I actually think it's very competitive. I like what they have, and I can get behind everything that I've personally touched so far from the brand. There will be more videos on this stuff in the future. I plan on reaching out and inquiring about a few more products and items because I'm really happy with what I see. It's a great American company, and I highly suggest that you go check out their website. website, check the comments section right now and you'll find a couple links down there. If this video isn't exactly what you were looking for, then I'm going to highly suggest you go ahead and watch some of these other videos that I have handpicked for you.